Good morning, everybody. It is great to have you here the second week of our Faith Warriors devotional. If this is your first time tuning in, you are so welcome. You'll have missed week number 1, but that's okay. You can go back and watch it after you finished watching this one. If you are here for week 2, it is great to have you back, and I am so glad that you're here this morning because I am going to lay you into a little secret of mine. And the secret of mine is this. Whenever I was younger, I really wanted to be Mulan. You know, the Disney princess, Mulan. Now, the story of Mulan, for those who don't know, is about this girl, Mulan, who disguises herself to be a boy so that she can go and join the Chinese army in place of her father because her father is old and injured. So she shows bravery and courage and honour and goes to fight and win the battle against their enemies, the Huns. Isn't that amazing? Isn't she just class? I watched the remake of the original Mulan just recently, and I want to be like her all over again. Wouldn't it be great if we woke up in the morning, looked in the mirror and saw a warrior staring right back at us? Wouldn't it be great to wake up in the morning and feel like a warrior? I don't often look in the mirror and see a warrior staring back at me. I don't often wake up in the morning and feel like a warrior. I'd love to wake up in the morning and feel like Mulan. But I don't think that's really going to happen. One of the reasons is I'm not very strong. So I don't think waking up and feeling like a warrior is going to be something that's going to come easy to me. But there are warriors that we can be just like, and these warriors are faith warriors. Faith warriors have faith, like we talked about last week, to stand up for what they believe and trust in with bravery and courage. These faith warriors are normal people, just like you and I, but because of their faith in God, they were able to do incredible things. So if we have that faith that we talked about last week, if we have that faith in God, we can also do incredible things like those faith warriors did. Daniel is one of these faith warriors, and he's one of my favourite faith warriors that we read about in the Bible. He's one of my favourites because he was a regular guy just like you and I and had lots of friends. He was smart, which I'm sure a lot of you are. He was very physically fit, which I'm sure a lot of you are. And he was handsome, which I'm sure a lot of you are too. Daniel worked for 4 different kings throughout his life. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, whoa, that's pretty cool, working for 4 different kings. But unfortunately for Daniel, it wasn't as cool or as easy as you think it might have been. Because at that time, the people where Daniel lived, they didn't believe in God like Daniel and his friends did. They actually believed and worshipped in those kings and in idols. So Daniel was the odd one out. Daniel didn't believe in what most of the other people believed in. He believed and worshipped and trusted in God. But Daniel continued to work really hard for these kings, and Daniel was really good at his job. So good that the kings grew really fond of Daniel. They really liked him because he did what they asked him to do, and he did it really well. But this meant that the other workers grew really jealous of Daniel, so jealous that they wanted to get Daniel into trouble. But because Daniel never did anything wrong, they found it quite difficult. But they didn't stop. They continued until they thought of something. They made a law against God. And this law was that no one could pray to any other god. Because if they did, then they would be thrown into the lion's den. A bit of a conundrum for Daniel. I mean, I've seen lions at the zoo before, and they're pretty scary looking, and that's me standing on the right side of the enclosure, away from them. They can't get me. But imagine being inside that enclosure with lions. It would be pretty scary. And I wonder if you know what Daniel did. They had just made a law up against God. They've just said that you cannot pray to any other God. What is Daniel going to do? I find it hard sometimes remembering to pray on a good day, let alone a bad day. So I'm not sure if I would have been like Daniel and continued to pray whenever I knew I could face being thrown into a lion's den. But that's why Daniel is a faith warrior. Whenever Daniel had to choose between obeying the king or obeying God, he chose God every time. Even when Daniel had to do some really tricky things, whenever he was put in a really difficult situation, he didn't bow down to the king. He didn't worship other gods. No, he stayed true and faithful to his own God. He kept his eyes fixed on God, and because of his unshakable faith in God, God brought him through it all. God was with him through it all. We won't ever have to face being thrown into a lion's den, but we will have to face some difficult situations at times. But if we do a Daniel, if we stay true to what we believe in, if we keep our eyes fixed on God, we will be able to wake up and feel like a warrior, a faith warrior just like Daniel.